8 minutes after 8 o'clock. I want to welcome Paul Davis to the show. Paul is a social networking safety educator. That's what it says here. You've been
Accurate.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, good to have you here.
Thanks.
You've been involved in the IT business for a long time.
Right.
A couple decades plus. And the last little while, how long have you been going around talking to students and parents about safety issues?
Just under 3 years.
Yeah.
Started off as a little pet project because I'm a father as well.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and as of last week, I've eclipsed 90,000 students spoken to and over 8,000 parents, and including a small segment of D&D here in Ottawa.
Is that right?
Yep.
You're doing some talking here around the nation's capital?
This week, I'm here speaking to schools.
Yeah. What do you like to tell people? I know you talk to students and parents differently,
Absolutely.
right?
I'll speak to grade students, give them an age-appropriate presentation, and say, hey, you know, your parents gave you all this technology, but you have to understand there's risks associated with using it when your parents haven't given you any rules, guidelines, and consequences. So I guide them. With the parents, it's much more of an in-your-face presentation saying, hey, you know what? You gave them all this technology, but you haven't implemented rules, guidelines, and consequences, which are the key to safety online. Not legislation, not everything else external, but right in your own home, you, the mom, the dad, saying, hey, get that computer out of your bedroom and into a common area of the house where I can see what you're doing.
No computer in the bedroom.
No computer, no iPod, no iPad in the bedroom. If there's wireless connectivity to the internet, it belongs out of the bedroom in a common area where you can see what your child is doing.
What you're saying basically, Paul, is that it's time for parents to take responsibility
100%.
for this issue.
Absolutely.
The problems we've run into. I don't want to put blame on anybody. That's not the idea here. But the idea is you got to start parenting. You got to start managing what your kids are up to.
Absolutely, 100%. You empower them with the technology. Why do we want to point fingers when something happens? Well, if you gave them the technology, you gave them wireless internet, you allowed them to browse social networking sites years before this website says they're allowed to have it, why are you pointing fingers if something goes wrong? It starts and it ends in your home with the technology you've given them. So when I speak to parents, I advise them on that, and I say that because I'm a dad as well, but then we get into the technological aspect and how to protect them and apply some common sense tips and tricks to being safe online.
Because now is the time, I think, that we actually have to sit back and go, you know what? We're the ones providing the avenue for the kids to walk down.
Absolutely.
So we got to put up a barricade here and stop them from going down this street.
Exactly.
Right?
Why would you give your child a game that's rated M17 that says there's excessive violence, inappropriate language, and perhaps sexuality, and your child is 10 because the child asked for it? And kids get bullied when they're gaming online. I met a teacher last week in Toronto, 34 years old. He says, when I play these games, I get bullied.
Really?
Can you imagine a 10-year-old getting bullied by someone who's 40, who may not sound 40 because they can disguise their voice, and now they're being bullied online? You put your child in that position because you caved and you said, I'm going to get you that game.
So the best security for your child is to take them out of that vulnerable position.
Absolutely. It's really simple. It's just applying it. Stop being a friend and being a parent.
Yeah. What do parents say when you tell them this?
You have a lot of faces that will look at you and they'll nod, meaning they're in agreement. They also don't really perhaps want to hear it, but they need to hear it because everyone else said everything is fine. And I'm saying it's not. But it can be. It can be after this evening if you go home and apply some simple rules and guidelines and start parenting. And I ask them for feedback. They are able to give me feedback because I have a pretty opinionated presentation and I get feedback forms every night. And I read them and they're all, I needed to hear it. So fantastic. The best feedback forms are the ones that come from parents who say, you know what, my kid came home, they talked about this technology. They're happy that they don't have a social networking account because they're underage and they realize that the decisions that I made, that I was questioning, you just validated. Well, I'm not here to validate your feelings. I'm here to tell you it's a good decision, but if your gut tells you, hey, my child isn't ready for that iPhone or for Facebook, go with that feeling. Don't be afraid of it.
No, I like the way you've gone with this because, I mean, it's one thing to provide a tool for your kids to experience something maybe they shouldn't be experiencing at a certain age.
Right.
But it's another to turn a blind eye to it and just go, here's what you wanted, son.
Right.
And then just go your own way.
Now, once you've implemented your parental controls, like real-life parental controls, and say, hey, you know what, you're going to use this according to my rules and guidelines. Oh, by the way, if you break those rules and guidelines, I'm taking it away. Parents are afraid to do that. I'm going to take away that iPod. I'm going to take away that iPhone for a month, your Android device. Once you've put those in place, then there's great hardware out there that can help you as well, like wireless routers like the Linksys.
Like you brought today, yeah.
Will actually give you time restrictions on a device. So let's say you have a few devices connected to your router.
Yeah.
I can restrict you to 1 hour of access time to the internet, to the router.
Oh, is that right?
Once you've eclipsed it, you're cut off. I can control how much time you spend surfing the web. I can control websites you visit. So if I want to block a social networking site at the core, I can do it with the router.
I do like your idea, though, of getting that computer or device or whatever it is out of you know, the bedroom or behind closed doors, and because you can't lock the door to the family room or the kitchen, it's impossible, and you get to actually see what your kids are up to, and I see nothing wrong with that. Too much privacy is a bad thing for kids.
Well, that's, you know, 8,000 parents, I think about 4 have asked me, what about my child's privacy? And I look at them and I say, there's no such thing, in my opinion, as privacy in your grade school child's life. The most formidable years of their life, we need to be guiding them and educating them, not privacy.
Where are you speaking tonight?
Tonight at Much More.
Good luck with it. I think that's you're on a good mission.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
That's good stuff.